Wish you all a very happy Diwali. Today is day one of the 2-day card series I'm making for the Diwali, and I'm using a purple cardstock and a white card base. I'm going to die cut this in the center using my Sizzix Big Shot and this stitched rectangle die you can see, and I'm placing it right where I want both the cardstocks to be cut together. Sizzix is pretty strong, so it's going to cut both of them together right away. I'm going to get a perfectly cut stitched rectangle in between. I'm going to take off the little centered rectangle, and I'm going to use that for the second card, and I'm going to use the white rectangle for this card itself. I will show you that in a bit. Now I'm going to heat emboss this whole purple die cut rectangle cardstock, and I'm using my powder tool before I go ahead and stamp with my Versamark. I'm using little sparkles and little firework kind of stamps from different sets, and using my Versamark I'm stamping them randomly. I made these cards in big bunches, big batches this time, and I've sent out to all my friends and family. So I die cut all the panels together. I made little Ziploc pouches and die cut all the Happy Diwali sentiments, and kept them ready to go. You will see them in a bit, and that made my life a lot easier when I made a lot of cards together. So here I have finished stamping. I'm going to use my gold embossing powder from Ranger, and I'm going to just sprinkle the powder all over the stamped images, and you will see how nicely they just stick to the images. And little here and there, if the images get disturbed, I'm going to use a really dry brush that I don't use for any other watercoloring or painting, and I'm going to just dust them off, and then I'm going to heat set them using my heat gun. You will see the matte finish of the gold powder now. You will see how beautifully it will bring out the shine once it is heat embossed. I use the coffee filter for catching all the shimmery powder, the gold embossing powder. I got this idea from Jennifer McGuire. She's a great artist and I loved her ideas. So this, I'm just pouring back all the powder and it keeps my work surface clean. I used the stars in the other card. I couldn't find the star stamp here, therefore I'm just using the other smaller stars here. Now I will heat set this using my heat gun, and you will see the shimmer come right across. Now you can see the matte finish. In a bit you will see the shimmer, and then I can dust off the white powder that I used from the static powder tool. I'm just using the heat gun behind the cardstock just to avoid warping. You can see it's warped a little. I'm just removing all the powder, the white powder that was there. And look at that beautiful shimmer. I'm trying to catch some light. Now I'm placing the white sentiment in between, the white cardstock, and I'm stamping my sentiment. This was an Irish blessing sentiment, so I removed the Irish blessing and masked it and just stamped the rest of the sentiment. Now this is my white card base, and I'm using this now as a guide to place my sentiment inside the card. So you will see how I fit it right as a puzzle piece, and it'll just stick behind and it'll sit inside the card. There you go. Now I'm going to use my double-sided tape and stick my thread for the spinner card. I'm using the double-sided tape because it's strong and it's not going to go anywhere, and it'll go through the mail nicely. I'm using a gold thread and pressing it down nicely in the center, and I just wanted to make sure it's secured well, so I'm using another double-sided tape on top of the string just to make sure the thread doesn't move, or it doesn't get ruined in the mail. I'm using my bone folder just to press the glue nicely on the paper. Now I will go ahead and seal this purple panel that I die cut together. You'll see how nicely the two white and purple sit together because I die cut them together. So that is a big time saver for me. So I'm just paper piecing them together, and I will use these are the little itsy bitsy lanterns and the sentiments I told you I cut and put them in Ziploc pouches. Now I have two lantern pieces. One I am now sealing it face down. I have stamped the lantern and die cut them, and the first one is going to go face down. You'll see why in a bit, because this is going to spin and I want the lantern to look stamped on both the sides. So now I'm going to take the second piece and I'm going to do it face up, sticking to the first lantern. So that way you have a lantern's image facing up and down. So when the lantern spins, you have an even effect, you know. There you go. You see how both the sides it spins nicely and you just cannot say which one is the front or the back. Now I'm using the Tim Holtz glittery adhesive sheets, and I've cut them into small strips and I'm gluing them on each side just to avoid the white, plain look. And I'm using the Happy Diwali sentiment that I have die cut. Since it's an Indian sentiment, I couldn't find the stamp for Happy Diwali anywhere in the US. So I decided to go ahead and die cut them using the gold shiny sheets. I'm using my gel medium to glue the sentiment here. And this took a while, so Happy Diwali, die cutting them and then gluing each alphabet took me a while, but the final effect, just I was just happy with the way it looked. And this gold shimmer, the shining sheet is way different from the gold embossed background. You can see it doesn't overwhelm the background and it is not lost either. So that's the reason I decided to go with this gold sentiment, shiny sentiment, in spite of the gold embossed background. Just gluing them well together. I'm going to add some shaker elements on top of my lantern after the sentiment, just to give the plain lantern that looks right now, just to give an even look of gold everywhere. If you feel it's too much of gold in your card, you can skip this step. So this way you can either do the gold shiny elements, the shaker elements on either side of the lantern, both sides of the lantern. I decided to go with just one side, just to make sure I know which side is the front side of the card. When I spin, I know which side to put it up. So there you go. So that's the finished card. So when you open it, it spins nicely. I love the gold embossed effect. Now I'm just going to show you the other cards I made with this card. I decided to do just one card for you guys in front of the camera, and I did the rest all together. I had so much fun making these cards, and I hope you enjoyed too. And that's the finished card. This is the first card that I made for the Diwali series. There is another card that's coming up soon. I hope you had a lot of fun, and I hope you all have a very safe and happy Diwali. See you soon in the next video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Take care. Bye.